Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this particular video, we will try to discuss about a very interesting yet different topic. This is majorly, based on the implementation part in deep learning. I hope that everyone is aware about Titanic Survival Dataset. I hope that at one point of time, maybe at the very starting of your data science journey, you have encountered this dataset. But maximum number of times you guys will try to do the prediction of a survival rate of a person, via a machine learning approach where you will try to apply a classification algorithm in machine learning. But today in this particular video, what new I want to do here is I just want to, show you the implementation of this particular Titanic survival prediction using TF-learn. What I'm saying? TF-learn. I hope that you guys have heard about this. If not, please try to pay attention in this session and watch this video till the very end. You will be easily able to get the clarity what this TF-learn is all about. So basically TF-learn, I would say, is a deep learning library, you can say. Yes, we will try to, approach in today's part of the session via this deep learning library. And this library is built on top of, Tensorflow. Again, those who are already aware about the deep learning implementation, if you will do any project, there are two ways to implement that project. Either you are using an interface of TensorFlow or PyTorch. So today I am using this TF-learn library to do the implementation of a Titanic survival dataset, and we will try to do the prediction using this TF-learn. Okay, that's the major agenda of this today's session. I hope that the agenda is pretty much clear to everyone. Now you all know that whenever we are doing any sort of implementation, there are few steps that we used to follow, and these steps will remain same for every particular project that you will do. What is the very first step? The very first step is that we will try to load the data. We will try to load the data. Once we will be easily able to load our data set, so I'll show you everything whatever I am writing here. Just wait for a minute. After loading the data set, the second important step is that if required, and this will obviously required in maximum data sets only, that you will pre-process the data. What is the meaning of that? Maybe removal of the columns which are not of use or which are not likely to be used for the prediction of a survival thing. Or maybe, trying to convert your data into numerical values if they are in a categorical type. I'll show you. Now, once you will be able to load the data, once you will be able to pre-process the data, the next important step is that we need to build the classifier now, because our data is ready. Now we have to create one model, and what that model will do? Our model will try to have that classifier thing in their head, right? We will try to build a model which is a classifier model, because this is a classification task. You will see that the column name which I am talking about, survival, here I'll show you also. It contains two things, two classes. Either it will be 0 or 1. Obviously 0 indicates that a person will not survive, and 1 indicates that a person will survive. So we have to create a model on the basis of the features that are given to us in the data set that we have. Once we are able to build that deep learning model, we will try to do the model training, right? A model training will be the next step, where whatever records are given to us, we will try to train those number of records so that our model will be able to get some pattern that, okay, if these kind of features are given to me, the probability of surviving rate is quite high, and when these particular features are given to me, then the probability of not surviving rate is high. So basically, if you will see in my words itself, what I am saying, probability. So the probability finding function is softmax function that we will use in our activation part, and again that I'll show you. So these things whatever I am talking about here, you will be only able to understand if you already have a basic understanding of the deep learning things. If you don't have, then you will face some trouble here. Now the very last step is we will try to do the model prediction. That what I will do is I'll try to give one data, and we will try to see that, okay, what is the chance of that particular person to survive and what is the chance of that particular person to not survive. Okay, we will try to find the probability of that. So this is the, I would say, basic approach. This is the basic approach to, solve any particular deep learning project. We will first of all try to load the data. We'll try to understand that data. We'll try to pre-process that. Then finally, we'll try to build the classifier. Using that model's classifier, we'll try to train the model, and then finally the predictions will happen. Now, all these steps, these I believe five steps are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What we will try to do now is we will try to implement all these 5 steps step by step. I already have a file, and I'll try to step by step demonstrate you that how basically we are trying to do this thing, so that you will not face any trouble. Now here I'm trying to do the implementation via Google Colab. If you want, you can also use in your local system environment. You can just open your Jupyter notebook, and if you will write the same code, you will be able to get the similar output only. And don't worry, I'll try to share all the content material in the description part of this video, so you can make sure that you will be able to download that thing if you required. Okay, now what I will do is that first of all, what we can do, we will try to change the runtime type from none to GPU, so that our things will run faster when we are doing the model training. And here, we are dealing with very small data, but in future, if suppose you're dealing with a very high data, at that point of time, the need of GPU is must. Now let's get started. So it is going to connect first of all. So here you can see my cursor. First of all, it will show connected. Okay. Now, first thing is that we need to install this TFlearn library, which I was saying that it's built on top of TensorFlow only. So first of all, we need to download that dependency. Once that is done, whatever be the functions that are required, we need to import that. So here only I will import one more thing, which is import pandas as PD, so that in future if I need that particular package also, I can definitely use that. I hope everyone knows that NumPy and pandas, these two, I would say, apart from that Matplotlib and Seaborn, at least these 4 packages, please try to have a very good knowledge of these 4 things. Whether you are dealing in machine learning project or you are doing any project via deep learning, these packages are very handy. You should know all these things, right? Now we are importing TFlearn because I already have installed it, so it should get imported. Done. Now what I am doing is that I am trying to download my dataset. So in TFlearn, we will be having a lot of datasets. From that TFlearn.datasets, we are trying to import that Titanic data, and we're trying to download that. And I'm saving that dataset inside this particular, variable. So Titanic dataset.csv. So if I'll just now show you what is inside this data. So downloading Titanic dataset, and here this is what we have, the path of this dataset. So here it contains a CSV file. If suppose I want to read this CSV file, so here we downloaded that Titanic dataset, and this is the path of that. Now suppose I want to read the content inside Titanic dataset, or I would say. So for that particular case, I hope everyone knows that we can use the pandas package now, because I already have imported that. So I'll say dataset is equals to pd.read_cv, and this is what our dataset is all about. Or maybe I can say, because I already have used dataset variable, data frame. Okay, we are trying to create a data frame only, so I will try to write data frame here. Data frame. Okay, perfectly. Let it run. Read_CSV is the function. So now this CSV file I am trying to read using this read_CSV function. Now what we are trying to do here is we are trying to, I hope everyone knows, in order to see the topmost 5 records, we can directly use this head function, right? So what we are trying to do here is that we are trying to use this head function to get the topmost 5 records. Now here you can see that we will be having survived, P class, name, sex, age, SIB, SP, parch, ticket and fare. These are the columns that we have. So if we want to see the shape of our data set, so we can say data frame dot shape. Let's try to see what it is giving to us. So in a way, here I will be having 1309 number of records and 9 number of columns. If I just want to see specifically what are the columns that I have, you can clearly see that these are the columns that we have, starting from survived, then P class, then name, sex, age, and all these stuffs. So in total, we will be having 9 columns. I hope this part is pretty much clear to everyone until so far. So now we will be able to get what is the shape of the data frame. We will be easily able to get that, and we will be able to get what are the different columns in the data frame. Now what we want to predict, what is our target column here? I believe everyone knows that survived is something which is my target column, which is present at location 0th index, I would say. And apart from that, one more thing I will talk about. Do you think that this name and this ticket will play much role when doing the prediction of the survived part? I don't think so. So keeping that assumption in my head that whatever name it is, I don't care, I'll try to remove these columns. Don't remove, I'll try to ignore those columns, and will take this as the target class, which is the label one, and will take apart from that 6 columns, namely P class, sex, age, sib sp, parch, and fair. So I am considering that these 6 features are responsible to predict that whether a person will survive or not. Okay. One more thing, just to have an idea, I hope everyone can see that apart from the sex column that I have, everything is in numeric part. Considering that name column is I am ignoring only, but sex I am considering. So here it is female and it is male. So you all know that when we try to train our model will not understand this categorical data, this male female words. Our model will not be able to understand. We need to convert that thing into a numeric form. So how we can do that? Maybe I'll say that female is 0 and male is 1. So all these things are required to pre-process our data. So when I was saying that the very first step is, when I told you that we are trying to load the data, I hope everyone will be able to understand that this loading part is done now. Our next important part is we need to focus on that pre-processing thing. Second step we are trying to approach now. So just try to understand now, when I'm saying that I'm trying to, pre-process the data, what I'm trying to do here. First of all, I'll try to load the CSV file, which is present inside this data set. I'll say my target column is 0. So if you will go to the documentation, I will say that everyone can see the documentation as well. Although I'll show you that what this column is all about. I hope you can see the cursor on the screen. If you will see, the target column is something which is the column that you want to do the prediction. And in our case, that is 0. After that, there is one important column which is categorical labels. This contain either true or false. True means, if true, labels are returned as binary vectors. So I hope everyone will say that, okay, it will be true, because here we want a label to be of binary form, either 0 or 1. So here we will be having 2 number of classes only. Either the person will survive or the person will not survive. So in this way, we will be able to fill all our, parameters inside this load underscore CSV function. And we will be having 2 values now, data and the labels. So data will contain the data set that we have in the form of a list. You can clearly see that. And labels will contain 2 classes, 0 and 1. Right? Now, the next important thing which I told you, data pre-processing, where we need to convert first of all the sex feature into numerical form, where we can say that, okay, if the person is male, we are representing as 0, otherwise we are representing as 1. Apart from that, I hope you remember that I told you that I'll try to ignore the column name and the column ticket. Why? Because I believe that these 2 columns are not playing that much role in order to predict that whether a person will survive or not. Again, this is my assumption that this two columns are not correlated with the value that I'm trying to predict here. If you don't think that like that way, you can also try to consider those columns and try to see what are the values that you're getting there, right? So this is the discarded columns, column number 1 and the column number 6. You can go and check the index of that. So if I'll just show you also, if you will just check here, index number, so survived is already deleted, right? Now in the data that we have, we will be having P class, name, sex, age, SP, patch, ticket and fare. So our data feature will start from this index 0, 1 is name, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is ticket. And that is what we are trying to do here, right? So here if you will see, we are trying to say 1 and 6, please discard that. Then I am calling this function. So this is something which you can say is the function calling which is happening here. Now what is inside this function? You can clearly see. We are trying to take the data that we have, which contains the values apart from that survived thing, and the discarded columns which we are trying to discard, which is 1 and 6. Now what we are trying to do, we are trying to sort our data by descending ID. We are trying to remove those columns, and apart from that we are trying to convert our sex field into some numeric value, where we are saying that if data of I1 record is female, consider it as 1, otherwise consider it as 0, right? So in this way we will be able to pre-process our data. Now this pre-processing part is done. So our second step that we are trying to do is done. What is the next step? Next step is to build that classifier, right? So now is the time that we will try to work on building a classifier, where now we are trying to create a model, a neural network, which will try to help us to create a classifier, right? Here if you will see, we are trying to get a shape, none comma 6, none indicates undefined dimensions, 6 indicates the number of features that we have, because now we have removed the name and the ticket column, so we will be having in total 6 features. Now fully connected layers are there. How many number of neurons we are using? 32. At the final part we are trying to use 2. Why is that so? Because we will be having 2 classes. What is the activation function we are trying to use? Softmax. Why softmax? I hope everyone knows softmax we will try to use only in those scenarios where we will be having 2 classes, and we will try to find out the probability of those classes. So whenever there is a binary classification problem and you are trying to find out the probability of one among other, so always go for this softmax function, right? Now I'm trying to call this final regression thing on the top of this neural network that we have created, and in this way we will be able to get that neural network. Now here you can clearly see that here we have created a 3-layer neural network. So this neural network classifier you can clearly see is a 3-layer neural network. I hope everyone knows that we can always increase or decrease the number of layers. Try to work for the more layers and for the lesser layers. I don't believe that lesser layers should work best, but try to go for 5 or 7 layers and see that whether you're getting a better results or not. But as of now we are taking only 3 layers, and then we are calling this DNN again by default method name, where it will try to use that particular neural network that we have created, a classifier, and we are passing that net here. Model is ready. Finally, what will happen? Model training, the next important step. I hope you all remember, and I hope you all are with me. The next important step is that we want to train our model, right? So what I will do here is that I'll try to fit my model among the data and the labels that I have. Now here you can increase or decrease the number of epochs. For example, I'll say for 20 number of epochs I want, batch size is 16, and I want that it will show the metric as well. So now what will happen? Model training will be started. Now it will work for 20 number of epochs. I hope everyone can see that these epochs will keep on changing, 5, 6, 7, 8 until 20 number of epochs. It will keep on running. It will show you that what is the loss that you are getting, what is the overall accuracy that you are getting, iterations, how much it is moving, the time, the total loss, the training step. So in this way you will be able to train your model Now again, this number of epochs is again a hyperparameter. You can optimize these number of epochs by using a callbacks concept. Maybe I'll try to cover up that in the future videos of the implementation, but as of now I'm taking exact number, maybe 20, and this is done. This is done. So finally I am able to get accuracy of 78% approximately. Now the final step is the prediction of the model that we have, right? The final step is the model prediction, and that is what we are trying to do here. So what we can do is we can try to simply pass on that, okay, here we will be having few values like Shivam and Priya. I'm just randomly passing it, and here I will be passing the data that we have for the Shivam part and for the Priya part. Now first step is, so here I am loading the data manually, right? Then I am pre-processing that data with respect to Shivam and Priya, and then I am trying to predict the surviving chances of both of them according to the model that I have created. So I will say model.predict. I'll pass the data that I have with respect to Shivam and Priya, and I'll try to see what is the prediction I will be able to get for the Shivam's surviving rate, and what is the prediction that I will be able to get with respect to the Priya surviving rate. Let's see that. Now here you can see that the Shivam surviving rate is 0.08, which is 8%, whereas the Priya surviving rate is 82%. So in this way, we will be, able to get the predictions according to the data that we are passing on for the training part. Apart from that, you can very sure change the numbers, and on the basis of the data set, you will be able to get a different surviving rate itself. So in this way, with the help of a TensorFlow, we can easily do the Titanic Survival Prediction project. So I have seen, many number of times that people usually try to do the implementation of this project, via machine learning classification algorithms, and they can easily do that. But this part using TensorFlow, specifically using this TF-Learn, I just want to make you guys aware and how will it work. Again, it's a very wonderful library. You can go and explore more functions about that. Very easy to use, user friendly it is, and there are a lot of functions which we can directly use, we can directly call. For example, here if you can see that to directly train our model, we are directly calling this .dnn function, right? These things are quite handy to use. Always prefer documentation for all these things, because that is the best preferable source which I have seen so far. And I hope that you really like this video, you get some beautiful insights about that. I'm again saying that this part is clear to only those people who are already have a idea about the deep learning concepts, like what is activation function. For example, here Adam optimizer is usable. Why Adam optimizer? What is Adam optimizer? All these things you should know. And I know that I haven't covered up the basics of deep learning in my YouTube channel, but I am thinking that you already have explored all these things. So basically this video is for the implementation purpose, but very soon I'll try to cover up the basic fundamental concepts of machine learning and deep learning as well. But I'll try to create a separate playlist where I'll just go for the implementations of the projects only, because I got many requests from the students that please try to create a few of the implementation projects which we can see for those who already have an idea about the basics of machine learning and deep learning. So that is what I'm doing here. So with this, let's end this video. I hope you really like this video. If you do, please hit a like button, do subscribe my channel. And with this, happy learning to all. Bye bye everyone, and I'll see you all in my next upcoming video.